Alright guys, it's Miss Brackney. Welcome to your last day of notes for this unit, I guess. So today we're going to be learning how to solve real-world problems involving division of fractions and division of mixed numbers. So let's start with the first one. At the end of the day, a bakery had 5 and 5/6 pies left over. The 5 employees each took home the same amount of leftover pie. How much did each employee take home? So with word problems, you want to make sure that you go through and highlight the important parts of the word problem. I know 5 and 5/6 of a pie, and then 5 employees each. So that tells me that I'm starting with 5 and 5/6. And if each of the 5 employees gets an equal share of the same amount of pie, then I'm going to divide that number by 5. It's also the same thing as saying each employee gets 1/5 of the pies. So think of it like that. So now that we have our equation set up, we're going to handle it like we learned yesterday. I'm going to start by turning this mixed number into a fraction. So 5 and 5/6, I'm going to keep my denominator the same. I'm going to multiply these two numbers and add that to my numerator. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 plus 5 is 35. Great. Now I'm going to turn my second fraction, or in this case whole number, and then I'm going to turn that into a fraction and then get the reciprocal of that. So 5 is the same as 5 over 1, and the reciprocal of 5 over 1 is 1/5. So I can rewrite this as 30, let's do this in a different color, 35 over 6, because that is this part right here, times 1/5, because that is this part right here. Okay, remember how I said each of the 5 employees would have 1/5 of the 5 and 5/6 pies left? We basically turned this division problem into this multiplication problem by doing that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply like normal. So 35 times 1 is 35. 6 times 5 is 30. I know 5 goes into both of these, so I'm going to go ahead and divide them both by 5. 30 divided by 5, 35 divided by 5 is 7. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Now, I know off the top of my head that 7 over 6 is the same as 1 and 1 over 6. If I didn't know that, then I could divide this as normal. 6 goes into 7 one times. 7 minus 6 is 1. So then that would still give me, the 1 would go in front, my denominator would be the same, and then the remainder would go over that. Just a reminder in case we forgot how to do that. So with a word problem, you want to make sure that you always finish with a mixed number or a proper fraction. You cannot say that you had 7 over 6 pies each for each employee. Each employee had 1 and 1/6 pies each. So then I'm going to write this as each employee got to take home 1 and 1/6 pies. Awesome. Now I'm going to move on to the second question. A restaurant chef made 2.5 jars of pasta sauce. Each serving of pasta requires 5/6 of a jar of sauce. How many servings of pasta will the chef be able to prepare using the sauce? I'm going to go through and highlight again. I have 2.5. Whoa. That was large. Okay. 2.5 jars of pasta sauce. Each serving requires 5/6 of a jar. Or I guess I could just do this. So I'm going to start by writing out 2.5. And I'm dividing this amount by 5/6. Because we want to know how many servings of pasta the chef would be able to make using that amount of sauce that we have. So I'm going to start by turning my mixed number here into an improper fraction. So 2.5. Keeping my denominator the same. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. I have my first part done, and now I'm going to multiply this times the reciprocal of my second fraction, which is 6/5. 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10. I know that 10 goes into both of these, so I can divide this by 10 and then divide this by 10. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 10 divided by 1, or 10 divided by 10 is 1. And 3/1 is the same as 3. So that means that 3 servings of pasta can be made using the sauce. Make sure that you always have your answers for word problems either as a mixed number, a proper fraction, and always add the units. So that can mean feet, inches, pounds. It can mean pies, servings. If I'm looking for the amount of servings of pasta, I'm going to put 3 servings. If I'm looking for the amount of pies, I'm going to put 6 pies. All right, moving on to the next one. Victor's bird feeder holds 6 2/3 cups of bird seed. Victor is filling the bird seeder with a scoop that holds 1 1/3 cups. How many scoops of bird seed will Victor put into the feeder? I'm going to go ahead and highlight these again. 6 2/3 a cup. Each scoop holds 1 1/3 cups. What is going on with this highlighter? How many scoops of bird seed will Victor put into the feeder? So I'm going to start by putting my 6 2/3. And I know I'm dividing, so I'm going to put divided by. Each scoop holds 1 1/3 cups, so I'm going to put 1 1/3. Because we are dividing this amount, the total amount that fits into the bird feeder, by how much is in each scoop, how much each scoop can hold. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to turn both of my mixed numbers into improper fractions first. I'm going to keep my denominator the same for both of them. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 2, which we get from this top number, is 20. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 1, which we get from this number, is 4. Now, before I can multiply these together, I need to get the reciprocal of this fraction. So the reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. Now I can rewrite this as 20/3 times 3/4. And I'm going to multiply straight across like normal. 20 times 3 is 60. 3 times 4 is 12. I know that 12 goes into both of these numbers, as 12 times 5 is 60. I'm going to go ahead and divide both of these by 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5, and 12 divided by 12 is 1. And we also know that 5/1 is the same thing as 5. So, Victor can fit 5 scoops of bird seed into the feeder. So for this one, I'm going to put 5 scoops. There we go. Sorry, I froze. All right, our last question. After adding yogurt to her smoothie, Lily has 2 3/8 cups of yogurt left in the tub. Each serving of yogurt is 3/4 of a cup. How many servings are left? I apologize, guys. I've been making these videos all day. I'm like all over the place. All right, so highlighting our numerical values as we did before. I'm going to start by putting down 2 3/8 as Lily has 2 3/8 of yogurt left. And then I'm going to divide, because I know I'm dividing, by 3/4 because each serving of yogurt is 3/4 of a cup. So I want to divide my total amount, which is 2 3/8 divided by each serving, which is 3/4. So my first step is to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. I'm going to keep my denominator the same. 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 plus 3 is 19. And then my second step is to get the reciprocal of my second fraction, which is 3/4. The reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. Now I can just go ahead and multiply straight across. So 19 times 4, I do not know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to write this out super fast. 9 times 4 is 36. I'm going to put my 6 here and my 3 here. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So then that means 19 times 4 is 76. And then 8 times 3 is 24. So I do not know off the top of my head if this can be simplified, but I know that 12, 2, 8, 3, 6, and 4 all go into 24. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to divide 76 by these numbers. So 76 divided by 12 is not a whole number. And I'm going to move from the biggest number down, just because that will be easier for me in the long run. So 76 divided by 8 is not a whole number. So now I'm going to move down to 76 divided by 6. Also not a whole number. 76 divided by 4 is 19. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both of these numbers by 4. As we know from here, 19 times 4 gives us 76. So 76 divided by 4 is 19. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. And this cannot be simplified anymore. But remember from before, we can't necessarily say that there are 19/6 servings of yogurt left. So we are going to turn this into a mixed number. So if I have 19/6, my first step is I'm going to keep my denominator the same, and then I'm going to divide this how I would normally. So 16 goes into 19 3 times, as 6 times 3 is 18. I'm going to subtract the 18 from the 19, which will give me 3, remainder 1. My remainder will go as the numerator, and my whole number will go in front. So that means we have 3 1/6 servings of yogurt. All right, and then there you go.